That's one thing I figured out about myself in prison. My hand does not shake. Ever.
Anyway, The Godfather is as classic as the Sicilian vistas found within its vintage frames. Hell, it's the AFI's number 3 greatest film of all time, so naturally, it's been well and truly picked apart since its debut, lovingly of course. People talk about the performances, the quotable lines, the cinematography, the score, the whole shebang. So why on earth is what I consider to be the most defining moment for our lead character so wholly overlooked? Before I get ahead of myself, how about the usual plot recap? The Godfather shows us a roughly 10-year glimpse into the life and changing times of the Corleone family, a patriarchal Sicilian criminal organization in mid-20th century New York. The so-called family is run by a wise and almost inhumanly reasonable Don named Vito, and is captained by 3 of his 4 sons. The 4th and youngest of the boys, Michael, is a military hero who's determined to forge his own path, divorced from his family's unlawful ways. But he's forever pulled back into the so-called family business when the Corleones come under heavy attack from enemies both foreign and domestic. Enough vagaries though. Let's give some context to the main course of this little food for thought exercise. After a just barely failed assassination attempt sends Vito to the hospital, Michael decides to pay his father a visit one night. He expects to find a veritable army of guards, but instead is greeted with a deserted, Halloween 2 style maze of decidedly unguarded hallways. Now, Michael knows that something is wrong and calls his brother Sonny, the de facto leader of the family, to send help ASAP. But this leaves a dangerous stretch of time where Vito is completely exposed. Michael and a hapless but very friendly baker named Enzo who stopped by to pay his respects move the Don to some relative safety and then venture outside to try and head off any incoming danger, with literally no means of defending themselves. This is the moment when Michael truly shines. He snaps to with some clever, quick thinking and bolsters himself and Enzo to look like the dismissed armed guards. This gambit is just convincing enough to ward off the would-be assassins, who came prepared for a murder, not a fight. Of course, this sequence is gorgeously shot and very cleverly edited, but the true payoff, and why I'm bothering to talk about this in such detail, comes into play right here. These few seconds are everything. Even more so than the McCluskey coal cock or the double murder that forces his flight to Sicily, this moment here shows us who Michael Corleone really is. His dauntless true self is displayed here through his perfectly steady hands. Until now, we knew Michael was a good-hearted man among criminals who at least try to be decent. He was the Corleone boy with the life outside the business and the cute Diane Keaton girlfriend. He was the closest thing to a fully normal guy that we had to follow. Or was he? Watching him instantly ossify into a steely, unwavering man of action makes us reconsider all of our preconceptions about him, especially with the direct comparison to Enzo's reaction, to his hands. But what's really interesting is that this moment hits us the same way that it hits Michael. He notices that his hands are gun sight steady, the same way that we do. Which means that he hasn't been hiding some secret, cold-blooded badass self from his family his whole life. It was just waiting to be brought to the surface through necessity. Michael had to be tested before even he could grasp what kind of person he truly was. If you ask me, this is the moment when Michael Corleone realizes that he's destined for the life that we see him live through the rest of the trilogy. And not out of some sense of family honor or duty to his heritage, but because he's damn good at it. And it's not like this was some bit of Pacino genius either. This moment is not only specifically written into the screenplay, but even the source novel as well. So it's all intentional, measured character progression from tip to tail. Those self-assured, unwavering hands are the same ones that carry Michael through every trial of his career and his life. And, much like the man himself, right or wrong, they never once falter after a decision has been made. And damn, if that's not some A+ visual storytelling. Though an A+ grade isn't exactly a big surprise coming from what millions of moviegoers the world over consider to be the greatest film of all time.